Hey guys, it's Emily. I just wanted to talk about, what's been going on. I've been dealing on the road to figuring out what sort of disability I have. I've been having some really severe physical issues. My last doctor I spoke to, wanted me to start getting tested for MS, which is multiple sclerosis. I haven't been able to see a neurologist yet to go down that path, but in my doctor's words, we're going to go down this path with that as the end goal, and hopefully we'll stop somewhere along the way. So that's the direction it's going. So that's been fun. Guys don't know, I am 24 right now. I was, before these past few months, I was working, actively in both retail and office work, and I've had to quit both of them. I've actually had to quit both of them and move across the country to be back with my parents, because I am physically incapable of living by myself anymore. I know I don't officially have a diagnosis yet, so I'm not going to say I have blank, but my symptoms have become so bad that I cannot reliably be alone. I've had a few times where I've fallen and I literally can't get up. Jokingly said that I need to get myself life alert. May not be an entire joke. Sorry if you're rustling in the background. My cat's playing on my bed, and you can't tell a cat that they can't do something. Yeah, he's in my closet now. But yeah, I've fallen, I haven't been able to get up. I have severe pain all the time. My arms just stop working. My chest, this side of my chest, it just turns numb a lot, and I can't feel anything. Obviously everything's still working, but the exterior layer is numb, and it's really weird. It's almost like there's a cloud or jello in front of feelings. It's really strange. I've been having to use a heating blanket all summer because I've been so cold, because my circulation's also been acting up because of whatever's going on. It's really been terrifying because I was a very physically active person. I did sports all the time growing up. I apologize for 1 second. I forgot that I had that on an automatic timer. I had sports all the time growing up. I worked on my feet all the time, and I loved it. So being physically incapacitated is really terrifying for me. It's been really difficult because I was always seen as a physically capable human. Literally one of my last weeks working, even when I was starting to show symptoms, I literally carried an entire crib on one shoulder and just carried it for all the way across the store I was working in for a guest. Physically capable. And suddenly now I sometimes can't, my right arm sometimes can't even lift my phone. Can't even lift a soda can. And so it's been a complete shift. I know it's also been difficult because, as I said, I had to move across the country. I was living alone in Indiana, and now I've had to move to Connecticut and to be with my parents because I can't reliably be alone. And that's been a little terrifying because, it's a whole difference. I lived alone for 8 years, and now I don't. And it's been an adjustment. Still not fully adjusted. And it's been hard for them as well because, once again, there's been a little bit of disparity because they're like, wait, but you could always do this, but now I can't. And it's hard it's really difficult to admit that I can't. I still try to anyway, and then they watch me buckle and almost fall, and then, I don't know if they fully believe how bad it is, because I've always been the strong one, so I've always pushed through anyway. I did drum corps, or drum and bugle corps growing up, And yeah, so I learned how to push through it even when it hurt, even when I probably should have sat down. And I'm doing that now, healthy, I know. But it's leading to a lot of problems. And it's also leading to some people being very confused because they hear me talk about my symptoms and then they see me power through. Because just inherently I refuse to look weak in front of others. And so here I am refusing to look weak. And then they aren't really sure if I'm telling the truth, or like, why can't you did that yesterday, why can't you do this now? And it's really difficult because like I haven't yet reached the state where like I fully cannot be. And so a lot of people have issues seeing me be okay sometimes and not okay some other times. Yeah, it's been really hard. But yeah, so I rapidly lost my ability to live alone. 3 months ago, 0 symptoms. Like completely 0. I was perfectly fine as a lark, nothing wrong. And then suddenly, like, I actually collapsed at work. That was the first thing that happened. Literally the first thing that happened is one day I was working and I just collapsed. I went to the ER, and they're like, oh wow, you're having some arrhythmia issues, so my heart was going crazy. And they're like, oh well, I started going to a cardiologist. She did a bunch of things. She's like, you're having all the symptoms, but you're not having any of the test results. And I know that you aren't making it up, because like, the way you're not trying to throw out a bunch of really big medical terms and being like, well, what about this? Like, you're legitimately having an issue. And so after a while of this and a few more times of collapsing while I was out and about, and then, the doctor started to look into other ideas. During this time is also randomly my arm started giving out. But if it was a heart issue, that could have been explained by that. And I do have circulation issues, so they were looking into that. But then when I started having mobility issues about, I'd say less than a month after this first collapse, I started having issues being able to walk. Then she's like, we gotta send you somewhere else. After a few more meetings, she told me, I'm pretty sure it's MS. Like, obviously I can't diagnose that, but since cardiology is often where they first go for this issue, because, chest pains, I see enough people that I start to recognize the signs, so I'm going to have you go to a neurologist next. And that was less than 3 months ago. Like, that was like less than 2 months ago. And then, then I realized, then I was like, okay, well, maybe I can do this. And then I kept trying to push through it because, once again, I am stubborn that way. I feel like I can't be weak. So I kept trying and I kept collapsing. It got worse and worse to the point where I had a few days in a row, like almost, I say 3 days in a row, where I'd just get up and I'd collapse and wouldn't be able to move my legs for about like 2 hours. And that's when I realized I can't be alone anymore. And like, I can't afford, because, I'm 24, I recently graduated, I've had a bunch of job problems. Not me. It wasn't like I've been fired a bunch. It was literally a bunch of unfortunate events in a row, so I haven't been able to make savings, so I can't exactly like move in with someone else on the fly. So I had to back up, and I had to admit defeat and move in with my parents. So then the next few weeks were getting ready for that. So then, so now I've been home for about 2-3 weeks. We're about to see a doctor finally here. My childhood doctor, not childhood, but like before I left for college, my primary care doctor, PCP, is here. I'm going to see her soon, get her to do the recommendation for a neurologist in town. My old one wasn't going to do it for all the way out here. So go from there. Keep getting worse and worse. It's becoming more and more evident every day that I made the right choice. It's very difficult to give up my freedom. I've had it for 8 years. But I know that for my own health, I made the correct decision. And that's really hard. With the realization that I made the correct decision, I've also been getting better at opening up when I'm having an issue with my health. Once again, it's kind of like that first barrier was broken. And so with that first barrier broken, I feel better about, letting people know when I'm in pain, letting people know when I'm having a symptom. And my parents have slowly been putting together that this is more serious than I'm tired, or I feel kind of weak sometimes. I mean, they're going to send me to a doctor anyway, but, instead of being like, oh yeah, why don't you carry that over here? They're like, do you want to lay down? Do you, oh, can you carry all this stuff into the living room for me? They're now like, do you want to lay on the couch? Or I'm trying to play a game in the chair, my mom's like, do you want to switch and lay on the couch instead? I'll sit in the chair. It's small things that make me feel like they're definitely taking this more seriously than they were when I initially moved back. Yeah. So that's this first thing. I'm sorry if it was a bit of a jumbled mess. I have a lot going on in my head, and trying to come to grips to it. So thank you for watching. I hope that you have a great day. Let me know if you have any questions or anything you have interest in. I'm going to try and update as often as I can about how my journey with getting a diagnosis and adapting and how I'm dealing with new symptoms and all of that stuff whenever I can. I hope that, this has a level of interest to people, and I hope that you guys have a great day. Bye.